across the country.
Good evening and welcome to the news across the country. Nigerians lament epileptic power supply. Arrest to investigate the Ibadan-Lagos train fuel saga. Police arraigned woman for distributing fuel as souvenir. Nigerians have cried out to the federal government to save their businesses from imminent collapse as a result of the epileptic power supply ravaging parts of the country. Those who spoke in separate interviews with OSBC News in Osogbo lamented the losses they have incurred as a result of incessant power outage. Oluchi Amuda now completes the report.
Disruption in electricity supply has never been alien to Nigerians. Osun is among the states that has enjoyed relative power supply over the years, to the admiration of other states in the southwest. Osogbo, the state capital, had often prided itself as one of the most fortunate state capitals in Nigeria that enjoys constant electricity supply, which has helped in improving the economy of the state. However, this does not seem to be the situation anymore, as the state capital now wallows in darkness for days, and in some cases, weeks, raising concerns about the consequences such could have on small businesses that rely solely on electricity. Mr. Abdulwasiu Olalere, a cold room operator at Okebale area of Osogbo, bemoaned the losses his business has incurred as a result of the incessant power supply. He lamented that some of his products are sold at less prices, which is almost ruining his business, calling on the government to declare a state of emergency in the electricity sector.
They affect our business a lot because our fish is spoiled. Most of our fish is sell it in less price because of spoiling and because of unstable electricity.
Speaking in the same vein, Mutiyat Jimo and Barakat Pokola, who both deal in frozen food, said the epileptic electricity supply is getting out of hand and has further pushed them into poverty line as they could no longer sustain their businesses. Another Nigerian, Yekini Wasiu, a welder, lamented that the incessant power supply has greatly affected his purchasing power, as he hardly makes enough anymore. Reports say the national electricity grid suffered a system collapse, and development comes as Nigerians are already experiencing hike in the prices of petrol, diesel, kerosene, aviation fuel, and cooking gas. Investigation by OSBC News revealed that diesel now sells for between 650 naira and 850 naira per litre. Also, the price of cooking gas has risen to 650 naira from 550 naira per kg, while some filling stations, especially the independent marketers, are still selling petrol at cutthroat price of between 240 naira to 250 naira per litre. Same goes for other petroleum products such as aviation fuel and kerosene. Analysts believe the situation could lead to the total collapse of the country's economy if urgent steps are not taken by the policymakers. Oluchi Amuda, OSBC News.
The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the circumstances that led to a train convened by Commission INEC for easy accessibility in the July governorship election. Uluoma Akere stated this while receiving in audience members of Progressive Movement Forum in the state. He maintained that residents of the state should be aware of the locations and transfer their cards, if need be, before the closing date, so as to reduce stress they might pass through on the day of elections. Uluoma Akere enjoined party faithful to be aggressive in propagating the good works of Governor Adegboyega Otola and rally round his re-election bid for continuity of good governance. Earlier in his address, Chairman, Progressive Movement Forum, Prince Isiaka Oyiwumi, noted that the efforts of Governor Adegboyega Otola in transforming all sectors across the state therefore appealed to the state government to extend the empowerment programs to the grassroots. Osun State House of Assembly Speaker Honorable Timothy Oweye has tasked university authorities across the country to produce products with entrepreneurial skills. Honorable Oweye gave this submission while receiving in audience the Vice Chancellor of Ekiti State University, Professor Edward Olanipekun, and his team who were on the courtesy visit to their former student who is the present Speaker of the state parliament. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oladokun completes the story.
Discussions on how to maximize the potential of the nation's university system were the talking points during the Ekiti State University Monument Team's course visit on the Speaker of Osun State House Assembly, Honorable Timothy Owe, who is an alumnus of the university. In his remarks, Osun State Parliament Speaker, Honorable Timothy Owe, appreciated the efforts of the authorities of the state university geared towards annexing the potentials of the university education system towards building a vibrant nation. Honorable Way highlighted a number of programs and policies of the administration of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola which aid learning. He emphasized that this has tremendously improved the educational system in the state of Osun. The speaker harped on the need for the university system to, as a matter of urgency, address the alarming rate of unemployment to prepare students with an entrepreneurial skills. This is explained will solve the problem of the lingering challenges facing the nation.
If those in the educational sector can come up with a proposal to the government, to those who are in government, on how to assist the students, on how to be self-reliant, that will be a good omen.
In his address, the Vice Chancellor Ekiti State University, Professor Edward Olamekpekon, promised the determination of the university to place more premium on entrepreneurship on its products. He noted that Osun State House Assembly Speaker is a good ambassador of the school who is doing the school proud always. Special advisor on water and energy resources, who is also an alumnus of the university, lauded the authority of the state-owned university for maintaining the standard of the institution. Osun State Environmental Protection B 2021, where clauses and needed adjustments are accordingly effected. Oluwatosin Oladokun, OSBC News.
Meanwhile, second matriculation ceremony of Adonis American College of Health, Technology and Sciences, SLK, holds tomorrow morning. A statement by College Registrar, Mr. Adewoyi, indicates that Director General of OSBC, Mr. Abdulrashid Folarami, is the guest speaker, while Owamiran of SLK, Obadeyemi Adejuran, is the royal father of the day. Other dignitaries expected at the event include Honorable Wole Oke, Osun State Commissioner of Education, Chief Imam of SLK, Chairman Christian Association of Nigerian CAN SLK, Rector Osun State College of Technology, Chairman Obokun Local Government Area of the State, and Barrister Femi Onigbogi. According to the statement, matriculating students will be admitted into various departments of the institution, including community health, junior community health, dental and clinical health, environmental health, health technician, and health assistant department. Special advisor to the Governor on Civic Engagement, Honorable Olatubosun Oyetiloye, has described Osun State Artisans Workers Union as one of the largest employers of labor eradicating unemployment among the teeming youth in the state. The former lawmaker made the remark while commending the group of their loyalty and support of the present administration at the State Secretariat of the Union in Osogbo. The report is presented from our studio.
Various groups under the platform of Osun State Artisan Workers Unions in Osogbo converge in the multitude to show their loyalty and unprecedented support in making the programs and policies of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola acceptable to all and sundry. Speaking on behalf of the group, Chairman of the Osun State Artisan Workers Union, Alhaji Karim Olabi, said they have not witnessed in any state government who is passionate about the welfare of its citizens. He noted that the provision of welfare package to physically challenged individuals at the state is rated second to none. The leader of the group, however, implored the state government of Osun to engage them in activities of the government and equally create an office in Abere to effectively function as a body. Speaking at a well-attended program by the artisan and the state, the special advisor to the governor on civic engagement, Honorable Olatubosun Oyetiloye, appreciated the artisans for displaying a sense of patriotism and acceptability of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola's policies and programs. The former lawmaker implored the group to reciprocate the kind gesture shown by Governor Oyetola as the next election beckons in order to enjoy more of dividends of democracy in the state.
It's one of the largest sectors that taking people from the street, especially training people and developing their skill. And one thing about this government is that we have taken it upon ourselves to create an enabling environment and friendly environment for their business to thrive.
Honorable Onyitiloye thereafter advised the group to be more consistent and supportive to the state government. This is David Ojo reporting.
This is the news across the country coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Ile-Awiye Okebale Osogbo, Voice of the West. Now, our mid-news message. The gains from crime will not be enough to sustain you when you are eventually caught. Avoid criminal tendencies. Osun State government has described late Tunde Adeyemo as a great and brilliant journalist who left when his services were needed most. Osun State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, said this when she paid their courtesy visit to the management of the corporation. Details are now presented from our studios.
In his condolence, Chairman State of Osun House of Assembly Committee on Information, Honorable Kunle Akonde, who commiserated with the management and staff of OSBC, described Tunde Adeyemo as a dedicated journalist who rose through the ranks to make his mark in the field of journalism. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, Osun State Command, in its condolence, sympathized with the OSBC family and prayed God to give the family left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. From a retired permanent secretary, Dr. Ezekiel Oyemomi, comes a condolence over the death of Tunde Adeyemo, describing him as a seasoned journalist and unassuming leader who will be greatly missed by the OSBC and his immediate family. Office of the Civic Engagement, in a release signed by the Special Advisor, Honorable Olatunbosun Onyitiloye, said Tunde Adeyemo's death was a colossal loss to the pen profession and the state of Osun. Honorable Onyitiloye, however, said the fact remains that Tunde Adeyemo lived a fulfilling life laced with service in the vineyard of the Lord. The Olororuwo of Ororuwo, Oba Kamorudin Adeyemi, prayed God to put an end to untimely death in OSBC, praying for the family of Tunde Adeyemo.
We sincerely apologize for that mix-up and that package report. Condolences have continued to pour in over the sudden deaths of the journalist, broadcaster, and unregistered chairman OSBC Chapel of NUJ, Mr. Tunde Adeyemo. The condolences came from Olowo of Kuta, Oba Adekunle Makama, Forum of the Council of Chairmen, Halgon, Osun, as well as Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. Details are now presented from our studios.
In his condolence, Chairman State of Osun House of Assembly Committee on Information, Honorable Kunle Akonde, who commiserated with the management and staff of OSBC, described Tunde Adeyemo as a dedicated journalist who rose through the ranks to make his mark in the field of journalism. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, Osun State Command, in its condolence, sympathized with the OSBC family and prayed God to give the family left behind the fortitude to bear the loss. From a retired permanent secretary, Dr. Ezekiel Oyemomi, comes a condolence over the death of Tunde Adeyemo, describing him as a seasoned journalist and unassuming leader who will be greatly missed by the OSBC and his immediate family. Office of the Civic Engagement, in a release signed by the Special Advisor, Honorable Olatunbosun Onyitiloye, said Tunde Adeyemo's death was a colossal loss to the pen profession and the state of Osun. Honorable Oyintiloye, however, said the fact remains that Tunde Adeyemo lived a fulfilling life laced with service in the vineyard of the Lord. The Olororuwo of Ororuwo, Oba Kamorudin Adeyemi, prayed God to put an end to untimely death in OSBC, praying for the family of Tunde Adeyemo for fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Also from a guest writer and retired permanent secretary, Mr. Adunade Amo, on Tunde Adeyemo's sudden death, consoled the OSBC family, asking the immediate family to take solace in the fact that late Tunde Adeyemo lived a fulfilled life of service to God and humanity. Association of Veteran Journalists in the state, in their statement, expressed shock and dismay at the sudden death of Tunde Adeyemo. The association philosophically said the death of Tunde Adeyemo is that of man proposes but God disposes, and prayed God to grant Tunde Adeyemo eternal rest.
Osun State government has described late Tunde Adeyemo as a great and brilliant journalist who left when his services were needed most. Osun State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, said this when she paid a courtesy visit to the management of the corporation. Details are now presented from our studios.
The Osun State government has expressed regret over the sudden death of one of our prominent journalists, Tunde Adeyemo, describing him as a professional to the core. During a courtesy visit to the management of OSBC, the Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, who was accompanied by other top functionaries of the ministry, including the coordinating director, Mrs. Bukola Aderibibe, and director in the ministry, Mr. Moshood Suleiman, said the news was shocking and sudden to everyone. According to Mrs. Egbemode, late Tunde Adeyemo proved beyond doubt to be an honest, dedicated, and a thoroughbred journalist who carried out his assigned duty with absolute professionalism. She maintained that he left when his services were most needed. According to the commissioner, Mr. Adeyemo was a brilliant journalist whose work brought positive contribution to the state-owned broadcast media.
It's not the same in his own case. He actually left at a time we need his contribution, his service. We need him as part of the team. But we're not God. Only God decides when to switch off the oxygen. And so he switched it off for him yesterday.
In his response, the Director General of OSBC, Mr. Rashid Falarime, described late Tunde Adeyemo's death as shocking and devastating, adding that his wealth of experience will be greatly missed. He appreciated the Commissioner and her entourage and prayed the Lord to console the entire OSBC family and grant the family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
The board chairman and the entire staff of Union Osun Teaching Hospital Shubo have expressed their heartfelt condolence on the untimely death of the chairman OSBC Chapel of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Mr. Tunde Adeyemo. A statement signed by the Public Relations Officer Ayodele Adeyemi on behalf of the management of the teaching hospital described Mr. Tunde Adeyemo as a versatile, painstaking reporter and thoroughbred editor of Osun State Broadcasting Corporation Osogbo. The statement indicates that Mr. Adeyemo's death is a great loss to the media and the entire Nigerian Union of Journalists, Osun State Chapter. Meanwhile, the OSBC Christian community says it has received with shock the death of one of its members, Mr. Tunde Adeyemo. Chairman OSBC Christian Community, Eda Adebayo Akinsanya, Secretary Benga Fagbemi, and the program coordinator, Mrs. Adetutu Odekunle, in a statement expressed sadness over the sudden death of Mr. Adeyemo, a chief reporter with OSBC. According to the release, Mr. Tunde Adeyemo has been a faithful and committed member who was committed to the progress of the work of God. Hence, he contributed immensely to the ongoing project of the OSBC Chapel of Grace until his death. In the meantime, service of songs and commendation in honor of late OSBC chief reporter Mr. Tunde Adeyemo holds on Thursday morning. A statement by the chairman OSBC Council of Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ), Comrade Wasiu Ajadoshu, and the secretary Mr. Bukola Elufadeji indicates that the service will hold at the NUJ Press Center, Iwo Road, Osogbo. The statement urged members of the union to be part of the event so as to give last respect to the committed and dedicated member of the union. It's enjoined members of the union, public office holders, and members of the public to be part of the event. Late Tunde Adeyemo, the chairman OSBC Chapel of the NUJ, died on Monday, showing a brief illness. In the meantime, a special candle night organized by the NUJ OSBC Chapel for the late chairman of the chapel, Mr. Tunde Adeyemo, hosts tomorrow evening. Released by the chapel executive indicates that the procession will begin at the Okebale market and terminate in front of the OSBC gate, Iliawiye Okebale Shubom. It implores NUJ and non-NUJ members to be a part of the procession in honor of their late brother, benefactor, and colleague. The Lagos State Police Command has arrested and arraigned Ms. Ubulu Chidima Per, the prime suspect who distributed kegs of petrol as souvenirs at a party held at a Villa Event Center, Victoria Island, on the 4th of March. Mrs. Ubula Chidima Per was arraigned on a 4-count charge of conduct likely to cause a breach of peace, engendering human life by distributing constitutable matter in a public gathering, intent to harm another, and unlawfully carrying on the business of storage and contrabandizing petroleum products without a permit. Ms. Ubula was arraigned on Monday in the Special Offences Court of Lagos State in the Ikeja Magistrature District, holding at Oshodi. To be recalled that following the viral video of the distribution of petrol as a souvenir recently, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alabi, of Police reiterates the command's commitment to protecting lives and property and further warns citizens against acts capable of endangering human lives. And now to sports. The MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, is now wearing a new look ahead of the crucial World Cup clash between the Super Eagles and Black Stars. Adeyemi Abodere has more sports updates. We sincerely apologize for that sports report that could not go on our bulletin this evening. And to end the news across the country, here again at the major point. Nigerians have cried out to the federal government to save their businesses from imminent collapse as a result of the epilepsy power supply ravaging parts of the country. The House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the circumstances that led to a train conveying passengers from Lagos to Ibadan running out of fuel midway during the journey. The Lagos State Police Command has arrested and arraigned Ms. Ubulu Chidima Per, the vast prime suspect who distributed kegs of petrol as souvenirs at a party held at Villa Event Center, Victoria Island, on the 4th of March this year. That was the news across the country, edited by Adeniyi Kendi and delivered by Olushola Egbodofo. For more about us, you can log on to www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.